Hi, everyone. Sorry it took so long. I was having some issues with Zoom for some reason. Can you all hear me? Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. There are people that are getting admitted as we speak. I'm going to go ahead and let them in. I do want to start by saying that this is going to be recorded. I will put this up on YouTube when the meeting is over. So that'll be available for people that were unable to be in the meeting. They'll be able to watch that when this is done. So that should be available online, probably middle of the day tomorrow, something like that. Whenever I'm able to get that uploaded. So I wanted to start off first. Obviously, I'm Mr. Moody. I'm the athletic director here at Yorktown Middle School. I'm glad that you all could be here for this. And like I said, if you don't want to be on the YouTube recording, you can go ahead and turn your camera off, mute your mic, and you won't be included on that, and it'll be good to go. So the first thing I want to talk about is a change that we are making this year when it comes to our concussion protocol. We have done impact testing in the past. We are not doing that now. We found that a lot of the doctors would not even really use our results after or whenever there was an issue. They just wouldn't even use the results. So we decided it was kind of a waste of time. So we just don't do that anymore. Now, if they show concussion-like symptoms, they'll be taken out of the game or out of the practice, and we will run everything through our corporation nurse, Brooke Wagner. She will kind of get in contact with the families. There will need to be clearance before they are allowed to rejoin practice or games. So she will tell me when they're good to go, and I will release them from there. So that's kind of how we handle that. We don't do anything with the impact testing anymore. Just kind of using Brooke and having her go ahead and do all that stuff. So when it comes to grades, so at Yorktown, we obviously expect the athletes to be students first. If any athlete has 2 F grades, they are immediately ineligible for athletics. And I check those at the quarter and at the midterm. They're ineligible for 2 weeks. From that point, I will check the grades again 2 weeks from that initial grade check. And if they are then in good standing, they have fewer than 2 Fs, they will then be eligible. When they are ineligible, they are still on the team. They're still allowed to practice with the team, but they cannot travel with the team, and they cannot obviously participate in any games. So we want them to be a part of everything. We want them to have some incentive to get those grades up. But obviously, it's a big deal when they have 2 failing grades, and we want to make sure that they know that. Also, the reason we don't allow them to just get their grades current and up to date right when it happens, and we make them wait 2 weeks, is because we want them to make sure that their grades are always good and not just focus on them when they are worried about playing. So we think that that's kind of a good thing. We also don't want to put that on the teachers. It's really difficult for them to get those grades in right away when they're bad. So we don't want to put that on the teachers. We want to make sure that everything's good there. That's why we do it the way we do it. So playing time is something that I just defer to my coaches on. What they determine is kind of how I go with it, and I'll back them up on that. We also like to have the kids advocate for themselves. If they have an issue with playing time or an issue with anything in general, we'd like for them to go to the coaches first and talk those issues out. It's just a good life skill for them to have. Obviously, if anybody has any issues and they want to contact coaches or myself, that's never an issue. But we do want the girls to kind of step forward and take this on themselves, especially when it comes to playing time. because they need to know the reasons why they are not getting the playing time. And our coaches will always give them those reasons. So conduct is another thing that is important to us. We stress to our athletes that when they put on their uniforms, they are representing Yorktown. They should take pride in that and be exemplary competitors, as well as show exemplary sportsmanship. The hope is that our adults can model this behavior as well. Please remember that our kids are always trying their best, and the goal of the fans should always be to cheer on all kids who are competing. So we just want a positive atmosphere, for sure. Definitely not harassing any of the officials, any of the workers. Obviously, those people are putting in their time to make this work well for your student athlete, and we kind of just hope that everybody's respectful of that. So the next thing is we will talk about some COVID changes. So this year has some different circumstances. Even from the fall, we have a few things that have changed. The first thing we have is that we do have guidelines that have been put in place from the DOE. I have a few that I've put in place, but most of the things that we're running here are guidance from the DOE that we have to do. Things such as masks and sanitizers are rules that are put in place to protect the athletes and the coaches, and they must be followed. Your athletic department and coaches have many new procedures in place as well that you may not even be aware of. We need your help to encourage and model these guidelines. Are the girls going to be asked to wear masks while they play? No. Are they going to wear them while they're sitting on the bench? Yes. Are they going to be wearing them when they're not? Just anytime they're not playing, we expect them to be wearing those masks, especially with the way things are kind of falling today. We moved to a hybrid system at the middle school and the high school. Those masks and some of these things that we put in place are probably going to be crucial to really having a full season. We got very lucky as a program to run most of our fall athletics and have very few cancellations. It's going to be even more difficult in the winter. And these things are going to be, I think, the deal breakers for a lot of that. As many of you are already aware, we've had a couple changes already. We had to move a game that was early on due to Delta being quarantined. So that game actually was canceled because we couldn't find a date later on that made any sense. So that's kind of how it is. Just got to make sure we follow those things to make sure that we are doing the right thing here. We also have some things in line for tracing purposes. There will be bus seating charts. We'll try to get the girls in particular groups. So if there is something that happens, we're not totally affected, hopefully, through the whole team. So we have had issues where we've had to quarantine particular athletes instead of a whole team. And that's not ideal, but it's much better than sitting out for 2 weeks. So fan attendance is something that I've been talking about, including today. We're currently limited to 250 people at our events. That was 500 2 weeks ago. That's changed. And that includes players and officials. So what that means for a lot of events is that we are going to really look at those numbers and try to limit those numbers of fans that come in. Now, with girls basketball, typically that number is going to be okay. We haven't had 250 people at a girls basketball event. We didn't have one last year. So I think that we're going to be okay, but it's something that we're just kind of monitoring at the moment. We will be doing vouchers for some boys games. Wrestling is a whole nother animal. I'm not really sure exactly what we're doing with that. And swim fans we're going to have very, very few people at some swim events. So you guys are kind of lucky in that we don't have a whole lot planned, but obviously it's something that we're monitoring. I'm not going to have more than 250 tickets in a box, so we're not going to fill that gym at all. But I think we're going to be okay when it comes to fan attendance for the most part. We're also not doing all sports passes this year. Just didn't make a whole lot of sense. We were kind of worried about how things would fall. So no all sports passes. And we're also not going to hold tickets for people. If you call in before, we're not going to hold on to them for you at the gate. So concessions are going to be all prepackaged food and drinks. No longer are we going to have the liquid cheese that goes straight into your veins. Where we have prepackaged cheese, it's not as good, but it's gonna be what we have. No hot dogs, no popcorn, but we're making do with what we can. And then finally, for all home events, we're going to encourage social distancing as directed by our state officials. We do have X's marked in the bleachers. It is going to be nearly impossible for me to police that, nor do I want to do that. I have a lot of things that I have to do. So I'm not going to go up in the bleachers and, ask you to move apart. But I hope that you guys kind of acknowledge that sitting in family units is definitely ideal. Keeping your distance as much as possible to try to keep, everybody safe and healthy. Masks are also going to be required at all events, regardless of the venue. Athletes are being directed to wear the mask on the benches. Please adhere to the guidelines. So those are kind of some of the things that we have here. I also want to let you know that we're not handing out, well, I am not officially handing out any schedules this year, because the best thing that you can do is go to Yorktown Athletics and get the schedule online. It changes automatically from when I make changes. It goes directly to that website once it syncs, and it's just much better. So if you had that paper, schedule, you would think that we have a game against Delta next week, and we do not. So check that website when it comes to those things. Also on Twitter at YMS Athletics. That is the best way to get information from me. I post things when they happen there, and following that's going to definitely help you. If we have to cancel a practice or whatever, I obviously tell the coaches, and then I go right to Twitter and post that. So you're always going to get the up-to-date information there. Coaches, I'm going to go ahead and start with Coach Turner. I believe he's in here. Coach Turner, if you have anything that you'd like to say, I'll let you go ahead.
Hey, everybody. I previously have high school coaching experience. I actually started here in 2000. I actually shared, photobombed a picture with Coach Bloom back in the day when she was playing basketball for Connie Lyon. So I know what it takes and what it's like at the high school level, and I'll touch on that in a minute. All of the expectations that I wanted to share with you, Mr. Moody already spoke on. The one thing I want to emphasize is that as we develop friendships and the culture in the basketball program, that we are supportive of each other. We have rules about attendance, and then COVID happened. And so we're going to do our best to be fair and consider, if your players show symptoms, they're going to have to probably sacrifice a practice. They might have to sacrifice a game so that the program and the season continues. And that's a tough decision to make. But if we put the team first and we put others first, then that's, it's a worthy sacrifice. I don't know what to say, but if you're showing symptoms, let's try to take care of each other and not pass it on or spread it along any further. One expectations I wanted to highlight is that we plan our practices. The girls need to be there, and they need to be on the floor ready to go at the start of practice. And we're going to do our very best to make sure that practices end on time, and your player is changing shoes and is out the door by 6:05 if we end at 6. And I do my very best to make sure that I don't run late practice. Playing time is based upon how they're performing at practice. Practices are mandatory. If you're having an unexcused absence, it's going to affect your playing time. And what we're going to do if we have a player quarantined, we'll just cross that bridge when we come to it. Just know that my interest as a coach, it's the interest of the team. That's how I make decisions. What is best for the player, that's how I make my decisions. One of the expectations that I hold myself to is that we have an unusual level of improvement throughout the year. What really matters is that we're trying our best and we're getting better, and the player starts at point A and then gets to point B, and we've accomplished a development of skills and an understanding of the game, and we want to get them ready for the next level. If the next level is to start in a game, then I'm going to work with them and coach them up to that point. If the player wants to play on the high school team as a freshman, then that's my goal and ambition as well. If I have somebody who wants to play basketball at the next level, then that's my goal as well. And I'm going to do everything I can to develop the skills and the knowledge and basketball IQ to make sure that that dream becomes a reality for us all. The last thing I think I just need to share is this is 8th grade basketball now. And my obligation to the program is to make sure that the players are ready for high school basketball. They will have every opportunity to practice and get better. I just cannot guarantee everyone equal playing time. We're carrying 9 players. Playing time shouldn't be an issue for everyone. Could have the chance to get into a game. But, you know, as we prepare for a career in high school, I want to make sure that the players are ready. And so thank you for attending the meeting. Sorry about the delay. I'll blame it on COVID first, and then I'll blame it on technology. But thank you so much for your time. Now, Coach Abria.
Okay. All right. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Hey guys, so I am one of the 7th grade coaches with Coach Callie. So we Coach Turner really hit on a couple of the things that we wanted to go over as well. But one of the main things that I want to hit on is Yorktown's really never been really known for basketball, and like that's something that we really want to get towards. And Coach Bargy, the varsity coach, that's what she's trying to do, and we're part of that, and so are you guys. So it's really important for us to create that program and get that started so that Yorktown is known for basketball, and we're creating something bigger than just 7th grade and 8th grade basketball. We're creating a whole program that's successful and everybody wants to join, and it's positive, and like that culture at Yorktown, that's what we really want, and that's the ultimate end goal. So it starts with you guys, and it starts with the positive attitudes and showing up to practice and giving 100% effort, because me as a coach and my fellow coaches, we're going to give 100%, and that's all we ask for in return. So I think that's the number one thing that I'm really looking for and my expectation for the season. And to get you prepared for games, I mean, I know that it's really going to be kind of hit and miss as far as games go, and hopefully we get to play, I mean, a majority of the games, but we're thankful and grateful that we even get to play at all. So I really want that to keep going, and I really want you guys to have a season. So we're going to do what we can to make that happen. So with what Coach said about just kind of being aware of your surroundings and what you're doing and washing your hands and just kind of, you know, taking those precautions so that we can have a season and you guys are able to play. And another main thing that I really wanted to hit on is everyone's in the same boat. So it's not just Yorktown under COVID, it's everybody. So everyone's fighting against the same circumstances. So it's really, we got to make the best of it, and we have to just keep going and chugging along and doing the best we can. So another thing with the girls that are being quarantined, we're trying to work out something so that you guys are staying up to speed as far as like plays go and kind of what we're doing. So as coaches, we're trying to work on something for that. So stay tuned. We'll keep in touch. We will make sure you guys aren't completely behind as far as what plays are, and we're going to try to work something out. So stay tuned. Be patient with us. We're trying to help so that we can make that happen. So when you guys do come back, you know, you guys are ready to play. And Coach Callie might go over it a little bit, but I'm going to hit on it. When you guys are at home, if you are quarantined, you guys are your own coach at that point too. So you guys really have to put in the effort to stay kind of in shape and kind of, you know, get out a little bit, go, you know, do what you can. I know the weather is probably going to get more cold. We're not going to have nice days like this, probably much more. So do what you can, stay active. If you've got a basketball, go pass with like your parents when you're at home. Do something to stay basketball ready so that when you guys do come back, you're not completely out of shape as well. So with that, I think I hit on a majority of what I wanted to talk about. So just kind of be the best you can be, and we're going to give you guys our 100%, and that's what we want in return. So I'm going to pass it to Coach Callie.
Okay, hi guys. Oh, hang on. Okay, so they pretty much hit everything that I was going to talk about. I'm going to go over just a few more things that I don't have in front of me, but there are some major things for us. Going forward, obviously COVID is very unpredictable. Nobody can tell the future, so please, please, please bear with us. If you guys have any questions, let us know with anything, but please come to one of the coaches first before it goes anyplace else. And as well, so we will have a rule list to go along with the COVID. Everything's unpredictable, so please bear with us. We are going to have rules for the girls, for the players, that we will need them to sign and bring back to practice. We will get those out to them as soon as we have those rules for both the 7th and 8th grade. It will be at the players' responsibility to let the parents know or the guardians know of those rules. So then if something happens, we can be like, hey, we gave you the rules. It was kind of your responsibility. You should know them, type of thing. So like I said, we will go over those as soon as the coaches have those rules. We'll get those out to you guys, and then we'll have you sign those back and bring them back. Another thing is to go along with the games. Like Mr. Moody said, it's kind of up to us right now. We have to be smart about our decisions, being smart, washing everything down, washing our hands. I know we're in a pandemic right now, but we have to be smart about our choices if we want the season. And I want the season because not having a season is really stressful. It's more stressful than having a season because you don't know what to do with yourself. So we do have a 24-hour rule. Me and Coach Avery, Coach Turner's kind of new to this, so me and Avery. So we do have a 24-hour rule, and that is, it will be more explained on the rule list when we hand that out, but the 24-hour rule is 24 hours after the game, please don't come talk to us about your child's playing time or if playing time. Too much is going on at the end of the game, too many feelings. We won, we lost. Don't want words to be exchanged that probably shouldn't or they should be. So that's why we're going to have the 24-hour rule. And if you would like to talk to us, then we can definitely maybe set something up, especially now with the pandemic, maybe set up like an appointment kind of thing to go with, hey, I need to talk to the coaches, or hey, I'm going to go above the coaches because this is about you. I'm going to go to the next higher up person, which is Mr. Moody, and we can go from there. But we do have that 24-hour rule. Like I said, it will be on the rule list. So I'm just giving everybody a heads up who's in the meeting that we will have that 24-hour rule. A few other things that are here on the list is positivity. With the girls, both 7th and 8th grade. This is going to be something kind of new that we didn't do, that we haven't done. Last year, me and Avery were the 8th grade coach, and we kind of had separate practices between the 7th and 8th grade, so it might be a little different this year with the practices together. So we will be having practices together 4:30 to 6, 7th and 8th grade both. So it's going to be a lot of changes for everybody, not just COVID, but a lot of positivity with the 7th and 8th grade going back and forth to practices. It is getting colder out, so please, 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 please dress appropriately. Don't come to practice in shorts and a t-shirt and then leave practice all sweaty, and then when it's snowing outside. You're going to get a cold on top of COVID, and it's not very good because then you won't be able to play. So please, please, please dress appropriately. If you're sweating, please leave the gym in sweats and a sweatshirt, or sweats and something else on top. Please do not leave in a t-shirt and shorts. Really kind of think that's it. One last thing with it, Coach Avery said, of you guys are your own coach right now. If you're quarantined, you have to be in charge of your body and your mind at this point. If you're quarantined for 2 weeks, like Avery said, it is starting to get a little colder outside, but that doesn't mean you can't do anything inside. do some push-ups, do some jumping jacks, just small things. I'm sure you can Google it. I'm sure you can YouTube it. I'm sure you guys know how to work your phone. Do those kind of things. Get some workouts in. Stay a little bit healthy so that when you come back after the 2 weeks, you're ready to go. Because we're not going to expect anything less than when you come back for you to just jump right into practice and know what we're doing. Like Coach Embry said, we are going to try and work some things out where we can maybe get plays to the people who are quarantined. So like she said, stay tuned for that. We will have to talk as coaches what we are going to do for that because it is fairly new being quarantined. So I really think that is it. I look forward to the season. I look forward to coaching everybody and getting everybody prepared for 8th grade.
All right.
So I think that's Mr. Moody that we have.
Yeah. Okay. So I did want to add one other thing because of the hybrid schedule being added. I just wanted to reiterate to you guys that it really doesn't have any effect on athletics. We run as you would. So even if your student is in the cohort that's not going for the next couple of days, they can still come in and practice. The idea is that the reason they do the hybrid is to lessen the groups that are in the building, make classes smaller, make all the groups smaller. So, our practices don't really affect that very much. And so they're going to keep going as if everything is normal when it comes to athletics. So that was the last thing I had. Now, I've got this last part for anybody that has any questions. Know that you don't have to ask them on this if you don't want to. If you want to send emails after, that's totally fine. Or if you think that, you have a group question, totally okay as well. So if anybody has any questions, you're going to mute yourself and ask them.
I have one.
Yeah.
I think I sent a text to Coach Turner about this earlier. In the past couple of years, we've had warm-up shirts, and I wanted to know if those were going to be ordered before our first game.
I'm not doing any warm-up shirts this year. Boys are doing their own and doing the ordering through that. My suggestion would be is to get information for each girl on the team and kind of run that through parents. Just especially this year, it's going to be really difficult for us to organize that in the front office, especially with all the other things that we have to do. So I would gather information from each team and then have the parents kind of run through those and do that process. So.
Okay, then Coach Turner, I'm going to need to get phone numbers from you for all parents.
Mr. Moody, we do last year, Coach Leanne, the varsity coach, did help us out with the warm-ups for 7th and 8th grade last year.
Yes.
We are going to do that again this year.
Yeah, and that's totally fun. Yeah,
okay.
and I can, if you do that and you need like a PO, I can do all of that, but I'm not going to be ordering any and dispersing them that way. So if that makes any sense.
But it'll be like, we're going to do the ordering.
Yeah. However, if you guys want to handle it a different way, that's totally fine. But I can handle the PO if you need to go, a purchase order if you need to go that route, if you need it. So.
Okay, yeah. So we will get the details to everybody about the orders for the warm-ups that we'll have for the 7th and 8th grade. Last year we had to pay for them. The girls got to decide between 2 options, which they wanted. Obviously with COVID, I don't know all the details, but yes, Coach Leanne of the varsity will be giving it to us because we kind of like to follow what they have. So to answer your question, we will be doing something. It's just we will not have them for our first game because obviously COVID hit and a lot of things have changed. So, but yes, we will have them.
Okay. Hey, I have a question. So right now some of the girls are quarantined, and does that affect their like attendance, I guess? Addie's like so super afraid that she's like missing practice.
10 practices, right? We've all heard the 10 practice rule. That is kind of thrown out the window this year. We decided to kind of, it's going to be difficult, especially if you feel like you need to have practices to get acclimated when you come back. You're really running into not having much of a season. So this year we've kind of thrown that out the window. Once they're back, they are eligible to play when it comes to the athletic department. Now, once again, it's up to the coaches to determine if a player is ready to play, you know. So just an example that I had in the past, had a player I used to coach, had a player come back from injury. This player was cleared when they came back, but obviously was not ready any way, shape, or form. So they played a very, very short amount of time for me, and I pulled them and sat them the rest of the game because it was very obvious to me that they were not ready to go. So that's kind of a coach's decision. But as far as needing to have so many practices before they're allowed to go out there, that's not happening this year. So.
Okay, and then can we get like contact information for the coaches for the 7th grade? I mean, I don't know about the 8th graders, but like, so that you guys can like text us what you need the girls to do while they're on quarantine and stuff. Because I know Addison made me wake up at 5 o'clock this morning so she could run because she thought that's what we're supposed to do. I'm like, we're not having this every day.
They do have their information is on the corporation website. I have from the athletic director page where I have all the information for the coaches. Now, obviously, Callie and Avery probably are going to give out like a group me. I'm guessing I don't know.
We have already given the girls our numbers. Addie was there the day we gave out both of our numbers. She actually got both of them along with all of the 7th grade. They all should have at least one of the coaches' numbers.
Okay, thanks. Because she doesn't tell me anything. So,
or if anybody needs, if 7th graders need it right now, if your daughter hasn't communicated, I can definitely give that to you right now. Just don't like spam me and kind of thing. But
there's a chat function here at the bottom. I don't know if that might pop up in the video. You probably don't want to do that. But yeah. Yeah, there's a chat function at the bottom where you can type it in, but that will show up in the video that's going up on YouTube. So I don't know that I would do that.
Oh, just kidding. Don't do that.
I wouldn't.
I'll text Addie again.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Mr. Moody, I do have something to say.
Yeah.
Okay, to go along with the participation and the practices for the girls that are in quarantine. Yeah, so you're your own coach. I know we've said that kind of thing, and we're not doing the whole 10 practices like Mr. Moody said. And I know circumstances are super, super rough right now with quarantine, and I know you do not choose to get quarantined. However, if you are at practice, you are going to get rewarded. However, please, please, please do not take this the wrong way. That does not mean you're not going to play. It does not mean you will not see the court at all. It means if you are there at practice and you are able to go through the plays, get warm-ups, go through jogging, go through running, you will get rewarded for the next game. Like I said, that does not mean you're not going to see the court at all. That does not mean that. It just means that the girls that are at practice will get rewarded. Just kind of throwing that out there.
All right. Does anybody have anything else? All right. Like I said, if you have any other questions, don't hesitate to email me. The coaches, you can text them. I don't know if Lance has a big group text. It seems like that wouldn't be his thing, but you never know, right? So if you have any of those questions, please contact us. This is a great group. I'm excited for the year and ready to get going. Like I said, this will be up on YouTube. Should be tomorrow afternoon, I'm hoping. And I wanted to thank you guys again. Apologize again. Today's been a day. So we got on here as quick as we could. Zoom's going. It should be good to go. Thank you all, and see you later.